Women should be 50%, if not more, of leadership in Nigeria. They are more conscientious. They understand what the family is going through better than the men, and they understand the pain of watching their children go to universities, come out of universities, and have no jobs to fall back on. We have to stand by these women. This is time to start preparing for 2027. It shouldn't be business as usual. All these male chauvinistic elements in the Senate and the House of Rep and local government and state House of Representatives need to be shaken up. I'm not saying replace all of them with women, and I'm apologizing to men because you're not going to like what I say in this video. It's time to hand the baton over to Nigeria's women. That's where our future lies. Before we get into it, please, if you usually don't click the like or share or make comments, not in that order, at least one of them. And if you haven't subscribed to our video, please do so. If you're always watching and you haven't done any of those things, click out. Don't watch me. I don't need you. We need to grow. And the way to grow is to have consistency in our subscribers, in the number of likes we get, in the number of shares we get, and the number of comments we get. If you're not doing any of those, you're no good to me. You don't have to watch my video. With that said, let's get into it. Today we want to talk about Nigeria's divide and conquer men. Not Tinubu, not Wike, not Akpabio. The men in Nigeria are dividers and conquerors, starting from inside their bedroom. They brainwash, they divide and conquer, and the women who can fight to move our country forward are so intimidated because when they try to talk, they are accused of being too forward. Shamefully, I heard somebody in the last few weeks talk about what Natasha is doing is going to destroy the opportunities for women to go to the Senate in the future. That's a shame for any man who thinks that way. And that's a shame for any woman who allows herself to be intimidated and not go out and do what her God-given strengths have allowed her to do. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LNTV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world.
If you collect 100 black ants and 100 fire ants and put them in a jar, nothing will happen. But if you take the jar, shake it violently, and leave it on a table, the ants will start killing each other. Red believes the black is the enemy, while black believes the red is the enemy, when the real enemy is the person who shook the jar. The same is true in society. Men versus women, black versus white, faith versus science, young versus old, etc. Before we fight each other, we must ask ourselves, who shook the jar? I'm Mark Twain, also known as Samuel Clemens.
Who shook the jar? Let's start out by saying that men are the ones who shook the jar of corruption, the jar of divide and conquer, the jar of embezzlement, the jar of everything evil in Nigeria. That jar was shaken by men. With that said, let me pay tribute to the men who have been fighting to unshake that jar, because not all Nigerians have been involved in the corruption, the 419, the embezzlement, and the things that plague our country today. Dele Farotimi did not shake that jar. Rufai Oseni did not shake that jar. Mayegun did not shake that jar. Nnamdi Kanu did not shake that jar. Omoyele Sowore did not shake that jar. And yours truly definitely did not shake that jar. I say this to pay tribute to the men who are fighting our fights before I get into my accolades for the women who I think are the future of our country so that you understand that I'm not undermining the fight that the few good men have been fighting. I just want to emphasize the rot that so many of the men in Nigeria have been. Just name it. How can a country survive when its leadership is so rotten? The men are corrupt. The people that can beat these corrupt men in 2027 are women, starting with the young ones. Even if they don't go into politics, their activism can get it done. Let's start with the youth corps. This lady in 3 weeks has given us 4 gems in videos, and they try to intimidate her. And that's when I said she will be my leader. She would not be bullied. The more they come after her, the more she came out with more videos. I'll play you one of those videos today. But these are the women we need to sponsor towards 2027. Natasha Akpoti, they've called her all kinds of names in the book. Who gives a rat's ass? I don't care what her private life is. What I care is what she's doing for the people. Go to her district in Kogi State and see what Senate leadership in a community should be. Not all these chauvinistic men that do nothing but talk and try to destroy women. Aisha Yesufu, what can I say? The woman has been, since the Buhari days, no, since the Jonathan days, she's been in the forefront of fighting for the people. Incorruptible. I met her in Chicago. I suggested raising funds for her to help her fight in Nigeria. She said, no, I don't want any money because I don't want anybody to say that I did XYZ. Chimamanda Adichie, The Danger of a Single Story. That is a loaded statement. You could read it a million ways. She will not be intimidated. I don't care who you are. These are the kind of women we need. Yemi Adamolekun. All you need to do is Google her EP70 and listen to her when she's on Arise TV or Channels TV or NTV, whichever one she's on. When you hear Nigerians that are tribalized and address Nigeria's issues the way they come, Anquio Briggs, she's been fighting the atrocities going on in River State. Sometimes she speaks, you say she's kind of being prejudiced. No, she's not being prejudiced. Are your people being executed day by day with pollution? I went to an event where she accused governors of other states of being lazy and sitting around for our revenue. I'm with her. Every governor should go develop his own place. Obieze Kwesili, what she did to fight for Natasha is what every woman should be proud of. And there is no criticism she didn't get. But women should stick together. Natasha is not perfect, but you cannot throw your own under the bus because tomorrow they'll come after you. So all the women who are heaping it on Natasha, yours is coming. Nena Oti from Abia State. We all singing the accolades of Alex Oti today. Without a Nena Oti, there'll be no Alex Oti. No relation. She was just fighting for the right thing. And comedically, who could beat Deola Fayehu? She comedically and comically would tell the leaders how rotten they are. She's been doing that job for so long. And it's always one person to betray the rest. Ireti Kingigbe, very disappointed. This is a lady who Wike was harassing in the Capital Territory, and we all rallied around her to fight the bully in Wike. And what happened? Whatever they appeased her with and shut her up, she was the first to come out and betray her fellow woman. For everything the men are accusing Natasha Akpoti for being, that is quote unquote bad. For he who has not sinned, let him cast the first stone. I would like Ireti Kingigbe to go out there and put her own record in the public, and let's see if there is no skeleton in the closet. This is no time for wimpy women in Nigeria. This is no time for women who get intimidated by men. This is time for women to face the facts, know what the facts are, know what they are fighting for, believe that they are right, and go out and present their facts regardless of who the men are that are trying to intimidate them. And it is on that note that I want to bring you Raya, the youth copper. You heard her first video where she called the president terrible. You heard her second video where she played the video of the lady calling from Youth Service Corps to intimidate her. You heard her third video where she talked to her fellow youth who criticized her for criticizing the president, but ultimately got the 40,000 naira raise to move their allowance from 33,000 to 77,000 or thereabout. She called them out and said, now that you got your raise, are you gonna come back and say thank you to me? I'm waiting, she said sarcastically. Well, now she just came out with another gem. Instead of talking about it, I want you to hear her gem.
There are some persons that I saw their videos whereby they were sharing tire, a single tire in a certain location in Nigeria. They were sharing a single tire, like, I don't know if I'm going to see that image again. They were sharing one single tire. I'm like, what are you going to use this tire for? Why are you collecting these things? If they come and they give you these things, and if you don't collect it, next time when they come, they will give you something better. If they come and they give you a single tire and you don't collect that tire, next time when they come, they will give you a motorbike. That's how it works. You have to reject what they are offering you for you to get better. But a lot of us don't understand. When you see them sharing plate of rice, don't collect it. If you catch anybody collecting it, hit the person and say, why are you collecting that? If they give you a plate of rice and you don't collect it, next time they come, they'll come with a bag of rice. That's what's happening in Lagos State right now. In Lagos, right, they don't share cooked rice anymore. They now share bags. They now share spaghetti. They share this. They share that, because they know that cooked rice will not fly in Lagos. But if they go to the north, they share a plate of rice. They share this because they know you will collect it. When we stop accepting mediocrity, when we stop accepting bare minimum, they will definitely want to increase the things, the things that they are offering us. Why are you collecting a single tire? What would you use it for? Why are you collecting a plate of rice? Would it last you for the next 4 years? We as Nigerians, you need to understand that you're the victim. If you want this entire country to grow, we need to understand that we are the victims. I do not want to talk about this thing ever again. Like, I've decided to close my mouth. But seeing all these things, it just doesn't stop. It's too painful, honestly.
It's too painful, honestly. I share her pain, but I applaud her courage. She made the first video calling the president terrible. They came after her. She's an ordinary citizen. She didn't go running. She doubled down and said, I'm telling the truth. You want to kill me? Kill me. They backed off. Then she came out with the second video where the lady from Youth Service called threatening her. They backed off again. Then while all that's going on, you had some youth, her fellow youth coppers, condemning her for saying the truth. So she came out with a third video and told them, say thank you to me. Then now her fourth video. Folks, that's courage. You don't get change by being scared of death. You don't get change by that's where you live. If you didn't live there, I can understand. That's where you live. Your life is not getting better. Your parents' lives are not getting better. Your children's lives are going to be worse. You have to stand up to these bullies. It starts today. Electioneering is less than 15 months away. You have to start now to organize. These crooks are organized with the most important thing they can have: stolen money to bribe. It's time to start educating potential people to be bribed, not to take the bribe. It's also time to find the guts to rebel. Nigeria needs a revolution. I'm ashamed to say this. Living in a democracy, I'm praying for a democracy in Nigeria. I'm ashamed to say that something we hate so bad may not be a bad alternative at this time. You didn't hear me say military coup, and I'm not gonna say it. Ladies and gentlemen, Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LMTV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home, we had no sophistication. We had no timepiece, the cockcrow and the sun, all we had. Rise early at sunup, we'd go to the farms, drive the monkeys away from the maize farms, and the birds away from the rice farms. Come back home at sundown, sometimes a little later.